Hi there and welcome back to our new channel. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Ade.
And we're excited today because we're going to be sharing something with you that is probably our most popular asked question, and that is
how to save for a Disney holiday, or well, any holiday really. Yeah, I think it's really something that we always get asked, isn't it?
There's kind of like two ways of understanding this question. How to save for Disney World, as in how to save up your pennies before you go, yeah, or how to actually have discounts and save in that way. So today we're going to be tackling how you physically save your money before you go on holidays. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so this is obviously, you want to book flights, you want to book accommodation. It's, you know that you've got to pay some money. It's
a lot of money.
How do you do it?
Yeah, and we're just sharing how we do it.
I think so,
yeah.
I
will say the first two trips we did.
Can I just interrupt there before? We will be covering the other parts as well in regards to, I think that's more money saving
tips and tricks
and things like that. So for example,
to get things cheaper.
Yeah, so we will be covering that. That's obviously money saving before you go on your trip and also whilst you're there. So this is just purely tips for saving to be able to go. Our
first two trips, I would say we completely winged it. Yep. 2007, 2010, 2007 we got married, 2010 I remember leaving or a couple of weeks beforehand thinking I don't want to go. Money was really tight, my business had been really slow, I had a wedding business back then, and I was just in a panic on how on earth we were going to be afford to eat basically when we were there. It was so tight. So then 2012, that's really when our planning and everything else seriously kicked in, and I feel like, yeah, I understood how to save for a holiday and how to plan for a Disney holiday, and it's just continued from then. So today we're going to be sharing our tips.
Yeah, and I think the very key thing to start off with as well is you need to know, not exactly, but a rough idea of what you're actually going to need to spend, how much it's going to cost. It's all well and good saying, we've heard this from people as well, saying for themselves, yeah, I'm saving £100 a month. But then, say your holiday's going to cost, say, £5,000. It doesn't take long to work out. That's going to take you a few years to save. Now, that's great if you're only going once every 5 years. But if you're going in, say, a year's time or 2 years' time, that's not going to work.
No.
So I think the key thing is having a look at what it's going to cost. There are different ways. Again, we'll be doing a video on this as well. There are different ways you can book your trips. You can do it through like an agent. Some are maybe like either Ocean Florida, or Virgin Holidays, TUI, or you can choose to do it all yourself. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. So you've got to get an idea of a price first of all. So I think when we did our 2012, we got that, didn't we? We got flights, what our accommodation would cost, key things like park tickets. So I think they're the kind of ones. So we had an idea, didn't we?
Pop it all down. Add food into there as well. That's again something else we'll kind of like touch on. We've always budgeted on about $150 a day for food, and that's always been over enough for the four of us. Obviously it depends. We don't drink a lot of alcohol and things like that, and we're quite stingy. I'm happy for us to have cereal bars in between, and we've always taken bits like snacks into the park. So and we buy things like bottled water, but again that goes into the other video. So but you do need to work out a rough estimate of how much the holiday is going to cost.
Because the other thing as well, you've got to think of food wise, you may think it's not a huge cost, but if you were there for 2 weeks, that does get from £100, say it's £100 a day as an example, that's close to £1,500 just for food, if you can estimate that. So it is a chunk of money, and it does add up. So I think that's the key thing, get those key items down, just to get a ballpark figure,
and then work out when you want to go on holiday. So if it's in 2 years time and you know roughly how much that holiday is going to cost, you can then divide it by 24, because you've got 24 months to save, and then you can work out roughly how much you need to save a month. Or the other way to do it, if you know you can afford to save, say, £400 a month, you can then work out how long that's going to take you to save to that amount.
So that could determine when you actually go. If you are on a set budget, that's probably one way of doing it as well, because then you know any time after that you're able to go. One other thing as well is just maybe estimate above what the costs are.
Definitely.
Because when it comes to maybe buying those flights or that accommodation and also Disney tickets, undoubtedly they would have probably gone up in price. And also,
And there's always extras, aren't there?
There are.
Hotel accommodation before you travel, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned there, for example, divided by 24, which is great, and I think that's a definite ballpark way of doing that, and I think that's excellent. But just bear in mind, if you're going with an agent, sometimes they like balances paid, say for example, 8 weeks before you go.
That's true.
So just bear in mind those factors. So if you've got to pay everything, say 2 months before you leave, at the very latest, cut that down to 22 months.
That's a good idea.
So that's just some of the things there. So should we move on to actually what we actually do? I'm not saying this is the gospel of it, but
biggest tip is to open up separate accounts for saving. Do not try and save in the bank accounts that you use. You need to keep it separate. You need to see that balance growing, and you know then that also you can't touch that money. Do you agree?
Totally agree.
We have 3 accounts for Florida savings.
Yep.
You have one that you save monthly for. You just put a little bit in there.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, yeah, that's regarded as like the spending. That's the fun account. So
you get the fun account.
Well, it's our bits and pieces. We see T-shirts, we see mugs. It's what kind of we do save there. So we may save a certain amount in that every month, and that's really what I guess our spending money is, isn't it? That's our fun money.
I then have 2 accounts. I do the Florida Fund, I call it, and it is quite fun. I have a Santander account, and you can actually name them. So I have Florida Fund, which is flights, accommodation, that kind of thing, tickets. That's my fund.
Your big main kind of items.
And I save a certain amount every single month that goes in there. And then I have Florida Spending. I save £250 a month. That goes into spending, and that's for all our food. And that always takes me well over. I generally have enough money when we come back, don't I?
Yep.
To put towards flights. Sometimes it's even paid for the flights for the 4 of us.
This is actually quite an interesting thing, and I know this is going to be a lot to take on. So if you need to watch this a couple of times or any questions, please ask us. By all means, we're here. We can answer those questions. But I think what you said then in regards to you have money to come back, that's something we found. I mentioned earlier on about overestimated cost of things. We always go over the top in regards to what we know we're going to spend on food, because we know then when we're there, we've not got any worries in regards to that we've not got the money.
Like it was in 2010.
Yes, I think having done
coupons all the way, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Sharing meals even when we maybe didn't want to.
Yeah.
It was a really tight trip, so that definitely taught us.
And I think with the other videos we got coming, for example, money saving tips whilst you're there, there's going to be some interesting things there that will also help make that trip enjoyable. And you can do Florida on a shoestring as well. Well, to a point. We've done it. So, yeah, and you still can.
Right, the next point is to ask for money from family.
That sounds a little bit...
for your birthdays and Christmas and that kind of thing. So you know what it's like when your parents say, what would you like for Christmas? Yep. We always ask for money, and we put that into our fun account.
And we actually say that that's what it's for. And for example, my parents, I think your mum and dad as well, will always then, I think, appreciate that, because they know it's going towards something that we love. It could be we buy the next couple of We Are Here mugs, the next series or something.
And we always send them a photo. Like your Ade's mum will give us money for anniversary, for Easter. So like we'll get like £20 for the 4 of us for Easter, and I think a couple of years in a row we've been in celebration having ice creams by the water.
Yep, so we've got photos of our ice cream floats.
Yeah, and we've sent them a photo saying thank you, this was our Easter gift.
Yeah.
When I bought jewellery before in like Disney Springs, I will then send a photo to my mum and say, look, this is what you bought me for my birthday. Yeah. I do it every time, and that goes into your fun account, that money.
Yeah, so when we're there, that goes towards something which is, we wouldn't, well, I say we would probably treat ourselves anyway, but it's just nice knowing.
But sometimes I don't, actually. Sometimes I hold back.
You do,
and then I think, no, actually, that's my birthday money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think that's a very good one. For example, if you do get people asking you for things like birthdays, Christmases,
or some family and friends give us dollars, don't they?
They do, yeah, which is quite nice as well, because again, you can go and buy an ice cream, Ghirardelli's or something
And
like
we
that.
do the same with the kids, actually. They get dollars at Christmas time or birthdays. Not as like a full gift, but sometimes they might get $50, and family will do the same for them as well. So then when we fly out, and this leads to our next
I know,
point.
just noticing that one there.
Give your kids their own spending money. If you're taking kids with you, this is such a huge tip. And we've done it since our first trip.
Yep.
They were 5 and 7.
Yep.
They've always had their own spending money.
And again, it's that same kind of thing. It might have been a birthday or a Christmas. We may have put dollars as part of their Christmas present. So that goes towards Florida. Yeah, I think we did this. Then I think for each year, I mean, the first time we went, they were 5 and 7, weren't they? Mm. And I think it was a case of, if they wanted something, it wasn't a case of coming to us and asking for something. We'd say, well, you've got your money, kind of thing. And the amount of time, especially as they get older, they would then actually start thinking, oh, well, I've got this money for this trip. Well, if I get that, that's going to be half my money gone, or something like that.
Like a big Lego kit that Louis seen in Target.
Exactly. So
or that year when Holly wanted a bongo drum in Animal Kingdom.
She bought and then never probably touched again, did she?
Bought it on her last day.
Yeah.
But it stops them from pestering. You know, when you're in a gift shop and they pester, it stops them, I promise you.
Yeah.
Because it's their money and they have to think, do I really want this?
So it's most likely money you've actually already given them anyway, and it is money for the holiday, but I think it's just down to them to...
I think it's a really good way to help them learn as well. You know, they take a little bit of money out each time, and it also helps them save, because they know then the more that they save towards a trip,
the more choice they've got. And I think after realising of things that I remember, was it one of the Star Wars droid that they wanted one trip, they didn't get it, but they got it on the next trip. Yeah. I think it was about $70, was it?
They split it between them.
Was it between them, or did Holly buy it?
I think actually you're right. The second trip she'd regretted it.
Yeah, exactly. So... yeah, I mean, we're not talking about them buying their own ice cream. It's the extra. It's the nice thing. It's their fun fund.
Right. So, I'm going to put you in. Actually, we're both this one. The next point is to set up a planner. I set up a physical planner. You set up a
spreadsheet. I have to be careful because you've written that incorrectly on the sheet, haven't you?
I did.
Spreadsheet.
Bit of a spelling error there on my sheet.
Yeah, I'll talk about the spreadsheet first of all. This was our 2012 trip, and I think we did it on most of our trips. We haven't done it the last couple, I think purely because we've got so familiar with what we do, and it's almost like a standard for us now. But the spreadsheet, I would write down the key items down on this: flights, car hire, accommodation, food, everything. And I would do a couple of things. I'd put what we've maybe got a price for, but then I'd maybe add a bit extra in there just so we'll round that up so we know we've actually got that covered.
Or sometimes what happens is, like car hire, that can vary. So we book car hire, we don't have to pay it until 8 weeks beforehand, but with the company that we go with, the price goes down, you can amend it. So then we can amend the spreadsheet, can't we?
And then it shows what we've actually made as a savings. So I then have a column at the end of it, and this may not be for everyone, but if it's after doing our 2010 we really wanted to be on top of it and know that we could do this, and we didn't have to worry about money. So it was great, and a lot of the times those costs were always a lot less. Another tip about this one as well, we always budget for our food in dollars. So for example, let's say we allowed ourselves $150 a day. That may sound quite a lot of money.
I don't think it sounds that much, actually.
I know,
for
four of you, of course you're not going to go for 3 meals eating out all the time. But we might have one meal out, for example. We wouldn't be extravagant, would we?
No.
But then another night we might grab pizza. But what I would do that in dollars, but work out in a way that the exchange rate is worse than what it actually is.
So if it's currently 140, we always kind of estimate around 120.
I mean, at the moment it's 1.3
something, isn't it?
No, it's gone up actually, I think. But anyway, whatever it is, we always make it so we've actually got to save more money. So when it comes to the time, we've actually again got more things. That's a little tip there, because of course that's just a little bit extra. So of course then also if the exchange rate does happen to drop, you know you can still afford your food. Whereas of course if you've just allowed for an amount in pounds and the exchange rate changes, that could affect your trip quite significantly. I mean, I know maybe £10 difference every day may not sound a great deal, but then that could make a difference.
If you're going for 3 weeks, that's a lot of money.
Exactly. So again, any questions on this, by all means, reach out and ask.
I like a physical planner.
Yep.
I have an A5 planner, and I've used it actually from our very first trip, and I keep them every single time, and I write everything down in there. I won't go into huge detail right now, but it really, really helps. I do have a video on my personal channel, Life with Lisa, and I've actually done videos. I've actually got a playlist there of trip planning and everything. I'll leave that link below if you want to go and have a look. There's loads of other tip videos, but there is actually a video of me setting up my planner, and this is just so nice to have everything all in one place. And I also keep all my savings in the back of the book, and I write down every single time I've put money into my account or taken out when I need to pay something, so I can always see exactly what I've got and making sure that my savings are like on goal. The next tip is to use cashback sites. I personally use Quidco, and I have saved thousands over the years since doing it. I use it all the time, and if you're not familiar with it, it's basically, say you're going to spend money in boots. Rather than going direct onto the Boots website, you would go onto Quidco, type in Boots, and it will tell you what the cashback is. It could be 2%. Sometimes it could be like the works are off, sometimes 18-20%. And you can get some really, really good deals. Or sometimes it's like a one-off payment if you're doing insurance or hotels, something like that. It's a really, really good way to save money. It's not instant. Sometimes it takes a few months to come through, but it really amounts up, and it's money that you're going to be spending anyway. Yeah,
I was going to say that if you're already spending it, obviously if you're not intending to buy anything and doing it, it's obviously maybe not the wisest choice. But if there's something you're going to buy anyway, and I think we are kind of now moving on to ways of helping save. It's sort of finding those extra bits of cash.
Extra bits and pieces. I do have a referral link for Quidco if you haven't used it before, if you don't have an account, and it means I think you get £10 and I get £10, something like that. I'll leave the link below. Go and check it out. It's really, really worth it. Like I said, it's not instant. It's like an account.
Over the years, isn't it? Yeah. It's almost like you're a bit like, I'm not saying a PayPal account, but it's almost like the money goes into it, doesn't it?
And you
it's
can
almost
withdraw
you get it
it
cleared.
then. And when I withdraw mine, it always goes into my Florida account. Always.
I think alongside that, another one is credit cards.
That's our next point.
This is the next point here, and we've mentioned, you may have seen on either some posts or some other videos, if you've watched any others, we do talk about miles and upgrades. Now, very similar to Quidco, we ourselves use Virgin credit cards and collect Virgin Air miles. Now, you can actually collect the Virgin Air miles without having to have the credit card. They have shops away, and a very similar thing to Quidco there, but you get miles.
It's part of their flying club.
Yeah, part of their flying club.
It's free to join.
Free to join, and we've been doing this for many years now. So, for example, again, those list of shops are on there. Some are also on Quidco, so often you'll actually look which gives the best.
See who's got the better deal.
So, as an example, we obviously need to check, but iTunes, I think they give 5 miles per £1 that you spend. I haven't gone on there recently to buy anything, so please don't just assume.
It varies all the time.
So it changes.
Yeah.
So it could be they may not still be doing that. But just an example, I've done that before. So I bought a film, so that's cost me £10. That's got me 50 miles.
That's nice.
So it's things like that. Used to buy our virus protection for our computer, and I think you used to get 24 miles per every £1. And so every time you do that, you would obviously get miles. This is without the credit card. This is just the shops away. Because I know some people ask, how do you collect the miles? And how do we get so many miles?
The main way is through credit cards. That saves us so much money because we get discounted flights from using it. And we just use our credit cards all the time and then just pay them off monthly. Obviously, it's really important that you do pay them off because then you end up with a charge and that defeats the whole object. But that really helps with regarding saving for flights and things like that.
So yeah, there are two sides of this.
It kind of overlaps a little bit.
Yeah, there's the credit card, and then there's the actual kind of, should we say, shops away. This is Virgin. I do know other airlines like BA do their own with their Avios points. And as an example, we've got Netcard. I'm sure most people do. We don't actually. We used to redeem our Netcard every Christmas with our Christmas turkey.
Go and buy a turkey, yeah.
But we haven't done that for a while. But with you on eBay, you've linked up your Netcard, so those points just all tally up, And now Nectar Card have linked with BA, and you can transfer those to Avios. So even with that small amount, I've got 6,000 Avios miles with that. Yeah, it's like Tesco Express, not Tesco Express, Club Card.
Yeah,
same thing. Just look at all these things. There's always ways to earn miles, which really helps.
But we will do a separate video on miles as well. But
that can bring down your price of your flights. If you can get a miles flight, it obviously means you will end up paying less overall. So that's kind of a bit of a money saving rather than how to save.
The next one, this is a big one for us and it's really helped us save over the years, is think twice sometimes about whether or not you need something. Perfect example, takeout. You know when you're thinking, oh, I really fancy pizza. We do this quite regular when there's food in the house.
Well, not that regular.
No, but we don't order the pizza. And it used to be we would put the cash in the Florida fund, but these days you don't really tend to have cash so much. So we transfer the money. I'll transfer the money from my account into the savings account, whether that be £20 or what we would have spent, and that money has then been saved. But we do that with a lot of things, don't we?
Yeah, it could even be we've gone somewhere and we've decided, like...
we were in TK Maxx recently. There was a hoodie and Ade said, get it. It was £20. It was really cute. And then I said, do I really need another Disney hoodie? And I went home and I put the £20 in the savings account.
Or we've done it before. We've driven somewhere and we've gone past the services and we said, should we stop for coffee? And then, as much as we love to, we realised, well, do we really need it? And then we've put that money for those 2 coffees. That again, it doesn't sound a great deal, and it's not like something we do
but
a lot.
But it really mounts up.
But as you do that week by week, and we don't really go out a huge amount. And if we want to go for a coffee, we'll go and get one. So we're not saying we're going to stop doing everything.
We still have a bit of a life.
We will have takeouts, we will do things, but we'll maybe think twice about things sometimes. And it's surprising how that actually adds up. Because I think when we had should we say the piggy bank?
I was going to say that. We used to have a piggy bank.
And we just recently paid that in, didn't we?
But it was amazing how much that added up.
Was it about £600?
Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was
that over, what was that, a couple of years?
Yeah.
But then that £600 we didn't have. So with just those small amounts of money, it just does go to show that it's kind of, you almost feel, well, that's like, goes towards like, your spending money or part of a park pass or something else. Or
that also then takes us on to piggy banks. Again, this was much easier when we had cash, but any spare cash in your purse, pop it in your piggy bank. We do still have the piggy bank.
Yep.
I think your mum gave you money the other day. You'd bought something, and no, you found £20, didn't you?
Oh, it was in I found it. It was either in a trouser pocket or something, or somewhere, or in the wardrobe or something. There was £20 notes. That went in there.
So we popped that in there. But sometimes, like, Ade's parents only really deal with cash. And so if Ade's picked something up for your parents whilst you're out some shopping, they give him cash, we pop that in the piggy bank. So if you've got loose cash around, pop it in your piggy bank.
And remember to pay it in.
Yeah.
And don't spend it.
The next one is to find different ways of making extra cash. Things like selling on eBay. Our 2012 trip, we seriously stripped the house, didn't we?
I think eBay paid for most of our trip, I think, on that one. So
we went crazy. As the kids were like not using, even like their garden toys, as they stopped using them, I was selling them on Facebook wasn't such a big thing then.
No, Facebook wasn't. You couldn't sell on Facebook then.
No, you're right, actually. It would have been local eBay then. People were collecting the old basketball hoop and bikes, and we just went through and sold everything, didn't we?
Anything that we weren't using, rather than throw out. Also, I think it was the idea that if someone else got use of it, well, great.
I even did things like if I was in a charity shop and, you know, if I saw a brand new game or something that was a high kind of ticketed item, like a decent brand, and it was a really good price, I even took that home and sold that on eBay as well. But we did really well. But like I said, now you've got like Facebook Market.
So many different things,
Music Magpie, get rid of your DVDs, things like that. There's so many different ways now to be able to sell things. And it has become really easy. There's like the Vinted app, isn't there?
It's a lot more accessible than it used to be.
Gumtree.
We, in all honesty, haven't done too much of that recently.
No, we haven't done it for
We've actually got some Music Magpie stuff we want to do.
True.
Now, it's not going to get you huge amounts, but it
all adds up.
It does add up.
And I think it is all these little bits that really, really make a difference.
Yep.
So I really recommend doing that for some extra cash. And make sure when you get that money that it goes into those Florida funds.
and that's the reason why of having those accounts as well, because you can then see that add up
and
as
make
well.
a little note of it in your planner each time, because you can really see how much you're saving.
Yeah, another one, this may not apply maybe to everyone. It's, for example, what skills you have. Is there a way you can actually make extra money? I'm trying to think of some ideas on that one.
I used to do quite a lot, actually. I started a few years ago. I was making autograph books.
Yep.
I was on the Dibb, which is a really cool site for lots of tips and tricks. I'll leave the link below. And I had an account on there, and I was making up Florida little memory books, autograph books, but like combining the two. So if you're creative, you could make photo albums for people. Some people make Disney ears. People these days are making t-shirts. There's so many different ways to make extra money. Also, if you've got skills like computer skills, you can actually charge people, can't you? You've heard of people doing that before, haven't you?
I know people have set up things, and anything I don't know, I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? But
I remember having a note through the door, a little leaflet, and somebody was just doing gardening in the area, mowing lawns, trimming hedges, things like that. My friend's husband used to clean windows. He worked full-time, but shifts, was home for the afternoon, and then he'd clean windows. So there are lots of different ways that you can make a bit of extra money.
Obviously, please check your personal situation in regard to tax. So we don't want to go and say about doing things and try and make money, and then you be the tax man catch you up with that. So please check everything out on that. We're not obviously advising on your tax situation, but please just, obviously, that sounds a little bit kind of boring, but it's something just worth checking.
That's a good point.
Especially when you are taking money from sort of people, but it's just something worth thinking of. But it could be there's something there, and it could be
like
worthwhile.
Etsy, if there's something that you can make and sell on Etsy. Yeah,
it could be something you've been doing, and you think, I can actually make money for that. It used to be our daughter was, well, she still does, doesn't she? She draws and paints, and we always said to her,
set up an Etsy account.
Set up an Etsy account and sell some. She thought, oh no one ever wants to buy them. I said, they will. So if there's something there. If you've got a skill like that, just set something up. And also, if it's not something you rely on, it's only extras, and if it's something you enjoy, do it. Go and have a look on Etsy, see what people are actually making, see if there's something there that you think you can do.
Our last point is to actually have a think about what you're spending your money on, and if you can make any changes or any cutbacks to what you're spending.
Yep.
Our example is we had a gym membership, a family membership for many, many years. And although we used it to start with when the kids were younger, as they got older, they weren't wanting to do family swim sessions and things like that. But we were still spending, what, about 50, 60 quid a month?
Probably, yeah.
And we didn't use it for so long.
Yeah, so obviously cancelled it.
Yeah. So it's things like that.
It's also things like, look at your things like maybe TV subscriptions, your Sky or your Virgin. Always call them up. See if they'll give you a better deal for the same thing of what you're doing. I've done that with Sky probably every year, and they've always managed to give me a nice discount. It's all savings. Your mobile tariffs, have a look at those. Again, renew. You'll probably find you can get a better deal. So just anything like that. And again, even if it's £5–10 a month.
I was going to say, do you get a coffee on every morning on the way to work? Something like that. Again, it only seems a small amount. I remember you sitting with my brother once, who was really strapped for money, and you actually sat down and worked out how much he was spending on lunches at work.
It was like buying a can of drink, buying his lunch. I think he bought a drink in the way into work as well. And
pizza sometimes after work.
And I said, even looking at what you just said, that's just, say, £10 a day. And you work that out, it's £50 a week.
That's a lot of money.
That's £200 a month. Now, get yourself organised, make yourself a packed lunch, still have a can of drink or something, but buy it from the supermarket in a multi-pack, so it doesn't really cost you. And then you save that money. So, yeah, just look at anything like that.
I think that's it. I think that's our money saving tips today on how we physically save for Florida. It definitely gets easier. You get in the habit of things, don't you? Yeah,
I think just to maybe sort of, I guess, summarise, I think it's a case of get that different account set up so you can have your savings.
And know how much you're saving.
And know how much, but work out what you need to be able to go on holiday. If you are stuck to being able to save only that amount and you cannot do any more, don't panic about it. It just means you might need to go 6 or 12 months later than maybe what your original plan was.
can you cut back on something that you've actually put? Do you really need to go to Discovery Cove, for example?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have a think about your priorities.
Have a look at different times of the year to go as well.
That's true.
I know if people are tied to, say, summer holidays or school holidays,
it's tricky.
That may be very difficult.
Can you leave a child at home? Do you have to take all of them? Sorry. Just take your favourite one.
Don't have favourites.
Sorry.
So you tell me. No. It's just, a case of just look. Not everyone can get those extra bits and pieces, extra bits of cash. Could be people don't go out having coffee and getting takeouts. So just obviously,
I know it's really hard, but that's where our next video will also come on about money saving tips, how to actually save, get like discounted things.
Yeah, and also to save while you're out there, because it doesn't have to be as expensive, I think, as what people may think that it is. And I look forward to filming that video with you. Please do subscribe to our channel. It's a brand new channel. We really, really appreciate your support. Please hit the notification bell as well, and then you get notified when the next video goes up. And please do share our video with your friends and family or anyone else you think may enjoy it. And if you liked it, big thumbs up.